Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I'm not going to play the normal Tiege Hanley commercial today simply because I was talking to the representatives, right? And I was talking to my guys over there. And I said, what y'all got for me for May? Because everybody is telling me that the nail clippers are sold out. And, you know, when y'all go to order y'all free gift, everybody was going with the nail clippers because they said, Anton, they love the nail clippers. I love the nail clippers. They said we completely sold out until further notice. I said, y'all got to give me something because I know y'all got some other free gifts, but it's people that want them nail clippers. And they said, nah. Until further notice, we got to get some more in, but we got some other free gifts. I said, you got to give me a little bit something else. My people need that. They said, all right, we got something for you, Time Dog. If you sign up with Tiege Hanley today and you use my code that's in the description, you get 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Man, let me give a round of applause for Tiege Hanley right quick. 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life and a free gift. I said, okay, I think I can deal with that. My people love that. So if y'all have not got y'all Tiege pack, make sure you get it. The link is in the description. Sponsor of the show. We love Tiege Hanley. We've been rocking with it. It don't fix the gray. We're going to go ahead and get that taken care of. It don't fix the ashy. It does fix the dusty. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. Make sure you do the thing that's in your best interest. If you want to look good, you want to exfoliate that skin, you want to make sure that you're smelling nice, you're awesome, skin is smooth, make sure you get that Tiege Hanley 40% off your first order plus a free gift and 20% off for life. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. What's going on, friends and family? It is Wednesday, May 1st. First of the month, 5th month of the year. Getting to the money. It's Money Wednesdays. We got to get to it. Listen, if y'all not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let me help you to understand something. What's the best day to join the Bag Chasers? What's the best day to join the Patreon? It's the beginning of the month. And so we get it in. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I wouldn't be doing it without y'all. I want to give a special shout out to my guy, Mike, that dude in the building. Shout out to Mike, that dude on Cash App. Also my dog, Michael. I appreciate you, Michael. And then I want to give a special shout out to Pat Jones. Pat Jones. Shout out. Oh, man, he said no shout out again. I'm sorry. David Pounds, I appreciate you, Mike, that dude. All of y'all, everybody that support the platform, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It's the 5th month of the year, y'all. It's the 5th month of the year. And that means that we almost halfway there. Y'all have less time than ever in order to get yourselves together. Stop procrastinating and get your life together. We don't need any more dustying. We done already let half of our life then go by. Y'all not taking care of y'all business. Shout out to my dog Kojak in the building. Let me read some of these super chats and we're going to get started with the show. Matt Washington said, I need a video walkthrough of a city talking that money talk. Only video walkthroughs that y'all going to get from now on. The only vlogging that y'all going to get where I'm talking through the city is on the Patreon. That's a fact. I'm not doing no more vlogs for the general public. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not documenting my life on the general public. It's not going to be released on the Anton Daniels channel, not here on the Millionaire Morning Show. The only videos where you're going to get the walkthroughs from now on, because I've already dedicated that. I've already started editing one video. That's going to be dropping this weekend. Stock Club, I pushed it back to tomorrow. And the reason that I pushed it back to tomorrow is because I realized that it was the 1st of the month. And everybody was going to be signing up for the Patreon because I told y'all yesterday, I said, hey, make sure y'all push that back and y'all sign up for the 1st of the month because the best day to sign up is the beginning of the month. And so I wanted to make sure that everybody got an opportunity because the best day to sign up for the Bag Chasers is the beginning of the month. It's pinned to the top of the chat as well as in the description. I don't want no excuses. So we pushed it back a day. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, we doing Stock Club. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, Stock Club. Sunday, we dropping a video in which I'm breaking down some stuff that I told y'all that I was going to break down in the beginning of the week. And we going to continue to run it up. And I got some special announcements that I got to make. So shout out to my dog, Matt Washington. I appreciate you for running it up. My dog, Kojak, is in the building, says, just renew my Patreon for the year. I challenge 8 others to come in and join me in the Kojak 9 challenge. Let's do it. Shout out to my dog Kojak in the building. I appreciate you, Kojak. Been rocking with this man for well over 30 years, it seemed like, right? Something like that, 25, 30 years. And we've been running it up. Let me also make a special service announcement really quick, because I hate TikTok. I hate TikTok. Y'all say OVO time, where to change that? I absolutely hate TikTok. And let me tell you why I hate TikTok. I'm on TikTok because I feel like I have no reason to not be on TikTok, considering that people had already started profiles of me on TikTok, pretending like they were me. Now, on Facebook, and I haven't actually executed this on X yet because I'm still working through some stuff. On Facebook and Instagram, obviously Instagram is owned by Facebook, which has basically rebranded itself to Meta. On those platforms, they make it very easy, and I got to give them some credit. They absolutely attack and deal with spam, fraud accounts, people that's pretending to be you, especially if you verified. They have a process where you go through, and the people that's actually educated me on doing that, they have a process that you go through in order to verify who you are, and then you can basically get rid of the people that's imitating you, that's out here frauding and saying that they you, and then asking people for money or saying, hey, invest in Bitcoin and all of this other stuff, which I don't understand how y'all getting finessed. If y'all are above the age of 10 years old, there's no reason why you should be getting catfished and finessed on social media. Neither here nor there. So Facebook, Instagram, make it relatively easy. I'm going to be dealing with some stuff on X recently. But TikTok, I'm starting to advocate that this thing gets banned. I genuinely am. I'm starting to think that TikTok actually needs to be banned because their ability to really be able to monitor, adjust, deal with, along with the security issues and controls that they have, with ByteDance and China. Now you got to remember, I am technically verified on TikTok because they make you go through a process where you got to upload your ID and all of this stuff in order to make sure that you're a part of the creator program to monetize your platform. Now, I haven't been hitting TikTok that hard because I don't really care about TikTok, but my people has been pushing me, so I've been doing it, right? And then I'm starting to get messages, and I don't get them on other platforms as much anymore because we've been tamping them down, but I'll be getting messages on TikTok, and they're like, hey, is this you? Hey, this person is following me. Is this your backup account? I have 0 backup accounts. I have 0, absolutely no backup accounts. What you see down in the description of this video is the accounts that I have. If you don't have them on TikTok, Threads, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, all of that, these are the only accounts that I have. That's it. So you don't have to reach out to me and say, if you reach out to me and say, hey, this is this, then flag it, send it to me, I'm going to flag it too, and we're going to figure it out. But I go and I'm like, when people have sent this to me, I was like, oh, okay, well, the process should be just as easy as Instagram. Let me go into my settings, go to the account, flag them, say, hey, they're imitating me. This is a fraud account or whatever, and it should be addressed. I go through and I'm looking at all of the support tickets that I put in, and I don't know if it's an automated process. It got to be. It can't be a real human that's going through this stuff. I go through and it's like, oh no, it's not enough to be able to remove this. It's literally a fake account of me. It's a cloned account of me. One of the clone accounts just so happened to have more followers than me. I said, what in the Jesus is going on TikTok out here in these streets? Why does the other accounts got more followers than the real authentic me? So I say all that to say, be very, very careful. I seen a guy that came up on After Hours yesterday, and he's like, oh my God, I want my 10th. I'm like, fam, I don't accept money through social media. I only do business on emails, and make sure that y'all ain't out here getting finessed by these wrong accounts. I even sent the link for him to be able to come up. Obviously, he realized that he was out here fumbling the bag, so on and so forth. But my point is that it's getting more difficult every single day to protect yourself and to protect what you have going on as a content creator and as a consumer. I do not do business on any other platform. I do not accept money from people to invest on their behalf. I am not involved in any Bitcoin. I'm not involved in any cryptocurrency with regard to having other people invest. I don't ask people for money. I don't have a fund for you to invest in. I teach you how to make sure that you invest in yourself, and then we go from there. All right. So make sure that you're not getting finessed by any of these fake accounts. It's not me. My only email address is Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. I do not invest money on behalf of people. I tell you what I do, and then you make an informed decision as to what you're going to do on your own. All right. So be very, very careful of all of these scam accounts. They really need to tap this junk down, and they really need to get some control over it. And TikTok is the worst platform when it comes to that. So if y'all ever getting some visibility, if you got a product that you're moving, if you got a shop that you got going on, they can easily clone your account and do whatever it is that they're going to do. And then y'all still falling for the okie doke. Stop it, bro. Be very, very careful, all right? So make sure that y'all protecting yourself, take care of business, and be on top of things. Just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. We moved Stock Club out to tomorrow to make sure that the people that sign up have the opportunity to be able to join us. If you join the Patreon today, because today is the best day of the month to join, then make sure you start at the Stock Clubs and you go through and you watch those videos that we started at the beginning of the year, so you'll be up to date and you'll know exactly what the lingo is and what we're saying. I'm still going to break it down to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to consume the content, but make sure that you watch the previous Stock Clubs so you'll be up to date, and then you can make an informed decision on how it is that you're supposed to be moving financially as far as the things that you're supposed to be investing in. You do your own research. I'm going to show you how I do mine, and then you can leapfrog off of that and then make an informed decision for yourself. Not gambling, but make an informed decision, all right? All right, y'all, let's get to it. Again, I appreciate y'all for continuing to hold me down. Shout out to the Wealth Building Journey. The Wealth Building Journey says time to get that bag. The value in the Patreon is literally insane. Level up your life by joining us on the Bag Chasers and Stock Club is tomorrow morning. Shout out to my guy, the Wealth Building Journey. I appreciate y'all. All right, got a full show ahead of y'all. I think I'm going to pivot on the last thing. I think I'm going to move the last thing over, and I might do that a little bit differently. But, yeah, man, I think it's going to be an awesome show. It's going to be chock full of game when it comes to finances and money. But before we get to the money and before we get to the finances, the first thing that we got to do is what? You already know what it is. We got to get to that quick hits. We got to get to that quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we got to make sure that you guys stay informed on what's happening out in these streets. Man, we're not going to dedicate an entire segment to it, but we absolutely, positively want to keep you guys informed on what's going on in these streets. Kicking it with a chef. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Let's get to it, y'all. So, first things first, got to keep y'all up to date on what's going on in Chicago when it comes to that cop that got slain, right? Apparently, they found video footage and arrested the man that was disposing of the gun, not necessarily the person that killed the cop, but the person that was disposing of the gun, the police officer's gun, and it's tied to a completely different robbery. It's really unveiling all of this spider web that's going on in Chicago. Take a look.
Carol, today a Cook County judge ordered Cassius Tate be jailed for violating the pretrial release conditions related to an unrelated burglary charge. And tonight we're now seeing video of that burglary from just a few weeks ago for the first time.
It wasn't a quick burglary, but prosecutors say it was a calculated and effective one. Prosecutors say one of these hooded men is Cassius Tate, shattering the windows of the brand new Katie's convenience store in South Suburban Richton Park and hauling out an ATM chock full of thousands of dollars of cash. Police spotted, chased, and arrested Cassius Tate and his alleged accomplice for the burglary. This was April 19th. 2 days before police say Tate's relative, Xavier Tate Jr., shot and killed Chicago police officer Luis Huesca. A judge released Cassius Tate on electronic monitoring.
At what point do you get hard on crime, man? Look at this.
Luis Huesca. A judge.
If y'all have no idea what's going on in Chicago, we've been covering this, we predicted it. And now there's lives, including police officers, that have their lives taken off duty on their way home from work. And we've been covering this and we've been talking about this for a while. And what is one of the things that we've been covering? The Safety Act. The Safety Act is a program that was instituted by Illinois, by the state, not just the city of Chicago, but by the state, absolutely supported by what was going on in Chicago. And they're basically allowing for criminals to run rampant, and it doesn't matter how severe the crime is that they commit, including stealing a whole bunch of money, which we used to take theft very seriously. They're releasing these guys out to the general public to go out there and terrorize you, and this is one of the reasons why you now have police officers' lives being taken, and why their family is saying that we don't want the mayor to come over to the funeral. Never should have been out on the street in the first place, bro.
Released Cassius Tate on electronic monitoring. On Friday, investigators closed in on a brick home in Chicago's far south Morgan Park neighborhood looking for Xavier Tate Jr. Prosecutors say Tate Jr. had taken an Uber to a home in this area near 108th and South Hale on April 21st, hours after police say he'd gunned down Officer Weska and been spotted in Gage Park convenience stores. Inside the home, investigators didn't find the suspect they'd come looking for. Instead, they say his relative, Cassius Tate, ducked away from investigators inside, tossing a gun over the fence outside. With that, prosecutors say police hauled Cassius Tate away in handcuffs. In court Tuesday, prosecutors say the gun Cassius Tate had tried to dispose of was a 9mm semi-automatic handgun with a few serial numbers scratched off. What remained, prosecutors say, identified the gun as Officer Weska's stolen police weapon.
Is there anything more to say right now? Let's just play the rest of the video.
Now with Cassius Tate locked up, investigators are hoping to quickly track down Officer Weska's accused killer.
The arrest warrant signed for Xavier Tate Jr. states that he has ties to Aurora, Olympia Fields, Champaign, and Decatur. Tonight, investigators are still looking for tips on his whereabouts while warning the public that he should be considered armed and dangerous.
And you know what the worst part about this whole thing is that there's people that's probably harboring him. Absolutely people that's harboring this dude. And I believe that anybody that's harboring this guy and protecting him, they need to be arrested and they need to be charged also with harboring a criminal and a fugitive. 100%, and people need to start being charged to the fullest extent of the law, because we already know who the culprits are that's doing all of this nonsense inside of our environments and in our neighborhoods, but we continue to protect them. Anyways, moving on, because we got more than one quick hits that we want to address. This is a man, the man that shot the 8 officers over in Charlotte. Do we see a trend happening here, ladies and gentlemen? I hate to say it, but I know that they always going to say, well, you know, it's the system's fault, or it's not just black people, or it's just crimes based off of proximity. Do we see a trend here? Is it a trend happening right now? No? Okay. I guess it's not just crimes based off of proximity. It's actually people in a profile that comes along with it. Black lips, nappy.
The suspect who opened fire on the U.S. Marshals Task Force has a history of crime in North Carolina, including here in the Triad. Terry Clark Hughes Jr. was arrested in Alamance County after a high-speed chase in 2012. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake spoke to the Alamance County Sheriff about his rap sheet.
Eluding arrest, possession of a firearm by a felon, possession of cocaine, speed eluding arrest. All these charges came from a high-speed chase arrest in 2012 in Alamance County.
What are we doing in society to protect our officers and our people?
Investigators say 4 officers shot and killed in Charlotte at the hands of one man, 39-year-old Terry Clark Hughes Jr.
And it upset me tremendously, and I'm still upset over it.
Alamance County Sheriff Terry Johnson says Hughes is a man with a long criminal record.
I am fed up with it. I'll be honest with you. And with this man's record I have in front of me, page after page after page, charged numerous times.
Hughes had a run-in with Alamance County deputies back in 2012. Deputies arrested Hughes back then after a high-speed chase. Deputies say Hughes led them on a chase at speeds over 100 miles per hour after turning around to avoid a checkpoint. His sentence, 2 years and 2 months. Sheriff Johnson says after this conviction and other run-ins with the law throughout the years, he should have still been behind bars.
I don't understand it. And now, you know, I hope the people that tried this man realize they got these 8 officers' blood on them.
Here's a look at other incidents involving Terry Hughes. He was convicted of breaking and entering in Person County in 2010. He also has multiple drug charges in May 2021 in Charlotte.
You know, it's almost like you're getting a stake through your heart when you lose officers like this. These are men and women that go to work every day, put that gun badge on, tell their family, hey, love you, see you later on today. Never come back again. It's senseless.
Sheriff Johnson says one of those officers killed could have very well been one of his. A lot of agencies, including Alamance County, have their men assigned to the U.S. Marshal's Office, DEA Task Force, ATF Task Force, and so many others.
And these guys is just getting released. They out on the street. They got long rap sheets. We're supposed to give them the benefit of the doubt. And it's not necessary for them to actually be able to stand on anything as far as making sure that we're doing the right thing for the people and the constituents that pay for your salary as judges and legislators. But they are more incentivized to let these people run rampant on the street than they are to hold them accountable and prevent them from doing crimes against other people, which then led to, obviously, 8 police officers shot, which 4 of them are now dead, and it's unfortunate. In other news, on Quick Hits, an 11-year-old in Atlanta killed in his own home. Check it out.
With those developments in Paulding County, where an 11-year-old boy was shot and killed in his own home. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Russ Spence.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Now investigators are trying to track down the shooter. Fox 5's Denise Dillon is live in Paulding County.
And Denise, investigators believe someone fired into that home.
Yeah, that's right. During the day, I counted more than half a dozen bullet holes on the side of this house, and one of those bullets hit 11-year-old Xander Watley.
We heard gunshots, so I had told my kids to get down, and I just started calling 911.
Bullets pierced the walls of this home in the Smallwood Farm subdivision in Paulding County late Monday night. Sharita Alexander Dorsey, her husband, and 9 of their children were inside at the time. They tried to take cover, but one of the bullets hit 11-year-old Xander Watley.
He actually got hit downstairs running up the steps, and the bullet came through and hit him on the side.
Xander was rushed to the hospital, but did not survive. The family believes the shooter may have a connection to one of Xander's older siblings.
He's friends with 2 of the guys. One guy, the guy that came shot the house, he, I guess, mad because our son was friends with the other guy that he was mad at.
You gotta be really bold to do something like that, you know. What we need to do is just put the guns down, think for a minute, you know. You ain't gonna get away with something like that.
As investigators with the Paulding County Sheriff's Office and the GBI try to track down whoever fired those shots, the family is grieving the loss of Xander, a 5th grader at Hutchins Elementary.
Xander
5th
was
grader.
a happy kid, you know. He was in student council. He loved going to school.
He was a real intelligent guy, smart, kind, you know, just a humble little guy.
No, a real intelligent child. See this guy?
You know,
That's a child. That's an 11-year-old child. Gone too early, life taken from them. Why? Because black lives don't really matter, and we all know who's who the shooters, who the jack boys, and who's doing all of the crime and the shooting and the polluting in the community. But we refuse to take accountability for our own people and our own children, and it's not going to be enough until it's your child. And everybody is supposed to care when it's your child. It's messed up, ain't it? Last but not least, we're going to pivot. We're going to do a 4th story because I want to make sure that the people over in Detroit, high off the hills of the NFL draft, is aware of the new openings and the things that's happening in the city. A formerly abandoned train central depot that I personally explored when it was abandoned and when we thought that this building was supposed to be torn down has now been renovated. Total spent is supposed to be well over $1 billion. And that doesn't include all of the different changes within the neighborhood of the upgrades, the homes that's being built. And this is in Corktown, which is very close to downtown. And we're now seeing a lot of the wealth being spread out and the tentacles basically impacting the other communities around the city of Detroit. But for those of you that are familiar with the Michigan Central Depot, the train station, you know that this was largely considered the biggest eyesore in the city of Detroit. It has now been renovated, and there is supposed to be concerts and other things that is going on, including the entire place becoming a technology hub and for open houses. So take a look.
Well, now to plans for the debut of Michigan Central Depot after a renovation years in the making.
The big relaunch is set for June, but tonight Ford Motor Company is giving us a glimpse of what's in store for the celebration.
Of course, it comes on the heels of the incredibly successful NFL draft in Detroit last weekend.
The Depot debut will mark a transformation that once seemed impossible for the former symbol of blight, and like the draft, it's sure to get global attention.
7 News Detroit reporter Brett Cast is in Corktown tonight with what's in the works for a landmark celebration.
Well, it's been 6 years of work to restore this historic Detroit landmark, and the debut is almost here. And here in this recently renovated Roosevelt Park, nearby residents say the neighborhood has already been feeling the impact.
The park looks beautiful. The building looks beautiful.
Once ruins of a forgotten past, the grounds of Michigan Central Station are coming back to life.
I get on the bike, I take the riverfront all the way down this way.
Kelly Brown is here often.
Yeah, once or twice a week.
But even 2 years ago, that wasn't the case. This park was renovated and reopened just last summer, and the lifelong Detroiter says he's seen a major change.
I remember it was nothing going on in this area in particular, of course. So to have this, it's pretty dope.
Now this summer, another major change. On June 6th, the train station itself is opening to the public, planning to host a 15,000-person concert in the park and open the building for 10 days of tours. Those who live in nearby neighborhoods will get priority.
For a while there, I thought they should have knocked it down, but I'm glad they didn't because it's going to be beautiful.
That includes Anita Vargas, who has called Southwest Detroit home for 30 years. Lately, she's welcomed countless new neighbors and goes out for walks often, something she says she couldn't do before.
Detroit was going downhill, but now people are coming in. By fixing it up, people are moving back in, and it's just a lot safer.
It's been really, really exciting, and it's been a really cool thing to be a part of.
Grandma Bob's has called Corktown home for 5 years. The pizza restaurant hopes to open during lunch on weekdays once workers move into the old train station. But for now, they're excited for opening weekend.
I think June 6th is going to be a really fun time, really crazy. A lot of events, and we're looking forward to probably our busiest week ever.
Surrounding this once forgotten landmark, some residents say they began to feel forgotten too. But this major development, one of many that's bringing new life to the place they proudly call home.
It's cool, and it's night and day to my childhood.
It had gotten to that point where people weren't caring about the neighborhood, but now people are caring, so they're taking care of each other. That makes it really important for us.
And the full details of this concert have not been officially announced yet, but advanced registration is expected to be required. Michigan Central is expected to make those final announcements sometime next week.
So for those of you that are in the city and those of you that's going to be in the city in June, if you see it in my back, a lot of times, a lot of y'all can see it in my background when I'm live streaming from the spot that I got downtown. The Michigan Train Central Depot, they will be doing open houses. They will be having concerts. The entire park is renovated. Detroit actually created the first electric street. So they did a prototype electric street that's literally right next door to the Michigan train station. And so if you have an electric vehicle when you park it on the street, it automatically charges. So there's a lot of technology, a lot of things that's happening within the city. I will keep you guys informed, because I largely consider myself one of the ambassadors of the city. And so I want to keep you guys informed on what you can look forward to and also what's available and what's changing, so that if you are an investor or you are a person that's participating here, then you get the best out of it and you can make the most of your money, because I've been advocating for y'all and I've been telling y'all for a long time where you supposed to be putting your money, how you supposed to be moving. Don't run to places that's already built up. The opportunity is when everybody left. That's when the buying opportunity is. The buying opportunity, the money is being made in the buys, not the selling, all right? So make sure y'all stay on top of that. I'm going to continue to keep y'all up to date on what's going on when it comes to quick hits. And ladies and gentlemen, that is quick hits for the day, all right? Let's go ahead and spin over. I'm going to read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Let me see. Kicking It With a Chef says, Anton, I'm visiting Detroit for my birthday this month. What's fun to do there? Food, nightlife fun? Oh my God. Kicking It With a Chef is so much to do. The first place that you probably want to get reservations for, and you can call and get reservations for it, is right at Woodward. It's called Zuzu. Zuzu is a phenomenal spot to go to. Make sure you like Zuzu, Rita. Rita visits Zuzu all the time. Also, make sure you go to Prime and Proper. That's awesome. Where is it? What you say? Sexy Steak? I've never been to Sexy Steak. Is that new? When did they open that up? So they just opened up a place called Sexy State. Make sure you visit Belle Isle. It's phenomenal. You can also, if you got your passport, go and visit over to Windsor. I like to stay at, or I like to tell people to stay either at the Shinola Hotel, the Cambria, or MGM Grand if you're feeling really frisky. They have a lot of bike paths, a lot of walking. You really don't need any car when you stand in downtown Detroit. But if you do want to rent a car, you want to go and make sure that you go over to the Avenue of Fashion on Livernois. It's a lot of phenomenal restaurants, a lot of great brunch spots. And you can really just explore. All up and down Woodward, Mexican Town, Corktown, Midtown is where I got my office at. I'm downtown. And then make sure you go up and down Jefferson, hit Belle Isle, and then you just can ask around, and it's plenty of friendly people. It's a melting pot. It's not just black people. It's not just white people. Asian people, Hispanics, Mexican people, black people, white people. It's a whole bunch of people here. So it's plenty to do. It's plenty to get us. Oh, make sure you visit the Detroit Institute of Arts. If you don't visit anything else, visit the DIA and go and make sure you walk the Riverwalk. The Riverwalk is ranked the #1 Riverwalk ahead of San Antonio in the entire nation. Look it up. Walk the Riverwalk, and then make sure, because when you walk the Riverwalk, you actually going to walk past my place. Maybe I'll see you. And then make sure you go to the DIA. The DIA, you can catch the Q line, which is free, or you can catch the People Mover, which is free. Public transportation is free in the city, especially downtown. You can catch the Q line, jump off right at the DIA. It's some of the best artwork that you'll ever see, all right? So phenomenal place. Great question. Thank you. I appreciate you kicking it with a chef for the question. That is a great question. Let me read some more of the super chats. Nola Grizz says, Captain Grizz checking in, piloting these vessels up and down the Mississippi River, keeping this economy rolling. Can't thank you enough for all of the knowledge you drop. Henry, working my way up. Yeah, high value man, soon to be. Not rich yet. Yeah, I like that. I ain't heard that word in a while. Shout out to my Henrys out here. Jay Johnson says, if you hear of any noise, it's just me and the boys. Yes, sir. Feeling excited about Stock Club, 7 a.m. town business time. Shout out to the first of the month Patreon. Gang, 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 gang. Welcome back. And blessings. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We got Stock Club tomorrow morning, live streaming at 10 a.m. Been here for a minute, but appreciate the channel, says my guy, my girl, Carla. Shout out to Carla. I'm sorry, my girl, Carla. Pretty Boy 79 says, folks out here giving North Carolina a bad name. This is crazy. We got to do better voting in our judges. Y'all need regional cooperation. Regional cooperation. Rashawn Gainey says, do I smell Crime Bill 2.0 coming up? I don't know. As long as it's not here in Detroit, we getting it in. Tia Maria's in the building, says, AD laughed so hard at last night's show. Detroit, what up, though? Yeah, man, we like to have fun on After Hours. My girl, Miss Lolita, says, I joined the Bag Chasers last month. In a month, my neck brace is taking off. God is good. All the time. All the time. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to continue on with the show? Y'all ready to continue on with the show? All right, let's get to it, y'all. We got to get there. We got to get there. What we got first? Let's see. Oh, the opposite of Detroit. California. Hopelessly fighting crime in California. I will say that the police officers, shout out to the police officers. We like all police officers all across the United States of America. I will say that the police officers in California is trying to do their part. Shout out to the police officers. We love y'all. But y'all hands is tied, especially when it comes to your legislative branches not on the front lines, letting the criminals out and also making it easier for them to be able to do what they do. But they hopelessly, and when I say hopelessly, I mean hopelessly fighting crime in Los Angeles. Let's get into it. Y'all gonna get a reprieve today, Chicago. It's not your turn. It's Los Angeles' turn. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And if you guys are not a part of the Patreon, the best day to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. Let's get to it.
Meantime, detectives in North Hollywood say a year-long investigation has led to the prosecution of a team of restaurant burglars suspected in more than 130 break-ins. Most of them small businesses where broken windows, damaged equipment, and stolen cash had a big impact on the owners. Investigative reporter Eric Leonard has an update on the case.
We track crime data all the time, and burglaries have been a sore spot at the LAPD over the last couple of years. Detectives say they believe this group was so prolific they may have single-handedly swung the statistics on commercial burglaries in the last year. 2 adults and 1 teenager are now in custody.
Burglary detectives say the thieves seen here shattering the glass door at a sushi restaurant in North Hollywood last year became known as the Punch Crew for using a glass-breaking tool to smash their way into about 90 restaurants in the San Fernando Valley alone.
They used a tool called a punch, and they were using that tool to go through the glass windows or the glass doors to be able to gain access into the businesses.
Lieutenant Ryan Lee is in charge of detectives at the LAPD's North Hollywood station, where his team of burglary investigators saw early last year that dozens of these break-ins across the valley were likely committed by the same group of thieves. He says security videos like these were helpful in connecting the cases, but not in identifying the burglars.
They were wearing masks, they were wearing hoodies. They had rental cars, so we know that by the MO that they were the same crew based on some of the clothing that they were wearing. However, being able to track them and find them became very difficult.
He says they caught a break when the group was arrested for an unrelated robbery. 2 adults have been charged with 19 commercial burglaries, 25-year-old Kawan Stevenson and 19-year-old Jacob Pugh.
Oh, fit the description. Again, listen, they did it 130 times. They didn't just go for it. They went all the way for it. They did it 130 plus break-ins, 90 different restaurants, and they said, this is a career. This is a career. Listen, it wasn't just one time we needed to fix things, we needed to get the rent together or anything like that. They said, this is a career. We are going for career status, 130 restaurants. Let me ask y'all a question. What do you think that the sentence is going to be for the people that got arrested as a result of this? What do you think that the sentence is going to be for the people that are getting arrested as a result of this?
These photos were shared because investigators say they suspect the 2 are responsible for even more unreported burglaries and robberies. Both are being held on nearly $1 million bail. The detectives say the impact on small business owners has been huge, both in the loss of cash and equipment and in the damage to their restaurants.
It creates significant losses for these small independent mom and pop restaurants who are cash-based. You know, insurance doesn't cover the break-in or their losses, and it puts a financial strain on them.
So what's the point of having insurance if it don't cover the break-in? What's the point of having insurance? What do you get insurance for if you can't cover nothing?
Police estimate the 3 stole about $80,000 in cash and merchandise, but did twice that, $160,000 in damage. The 2 adults charged have pleaded not guilty. The teenager is awaiting charges in juvenile court.
And he's going to be a career criminal. But that's not all that's going on in California. Let me keep y'all up to date, because when I say that they're having trouble fighting crime and is basically hopeless over there in California, I mean it.
Well, the old Wild West comes alive again as thieves move in on the trains in the Inland Empire. San Bernardino County deputies busted a group of thieves last night.
Yeah, the suspects are also accused of stealing vehicles to use as getaway cars. KCAL News reporter Michelle Geely with details on the investigation.
Victorville commuter Elias Vasquez bumped into a swarm of law enforcement officers as he made the long drive home Tuesday evening through the Cajon Pass.
Usually, you see like a few cops every once in a while, but when you count at least 8, you definitely know something's going on.
Vasquez says what he didn't know at the time was that officers had busted an auto theft ring in the West Cajon Valley. Looters, who the authorities say used stolen cars to burglarize Burlington Northern Santa Fe freight trains. A San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department spokesperson says the unnamed suspects forcibly stopped the trains just before 5 p.m. to steal merchandise. Officers say the thieves boarded a BNSF train, immobilizing it. According to authorities, they cut open locked shipping containers and tried to load cargo into the stolen vehicles.
It's just like the old Wild West.
Oh, my bad. I was muted. Good, because I was going on. Is this the Fast and Furious? Is this the Fast and Furious? Anton doing this once a week? No, I've been doing it once a day. You know, the reason why I mute myself is because I'm using a new wave and a new software to do whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm so sorry. But this reminds me of the Fast and Furious. Them breaking into a train is reminding me the same thing that they used to do in the Fast and Furious movies. Dominic Toretto is the greatest driver of all time. Tyrese is the number 5 driver and he's a comedian. Ludacris is out here doing what he's doing on a regular basis. He's the number 1 hacker in the world. They great. I mean, listen, I was done with the Fast and Furious franchise when the Fast and Furious was able to get a fingerprint on a woman's butt based off of trying to get into a safe over there in the Dominican Republic. I said, over in Brazil, I said, what in the heck is going on? What in the heck is going on? Anton, please come to Dalton and run for mayor. Maybe I will. Nah, I love Detroit too much. I love my city too much.
Crazy.
Forrest Billington is a retired San Bernardino sheriff's lieutenant from the high desert who'd heard about the most recent train incident. These were images along the rails in downtown LA back in 2022. KCAL News broke the story of rampant thefts from cargo trains. Thousands of discarded cardboard boxes littered the tracks. A task force was formed, and in the end, nearly 24 organized criminals were arrested, accused of stealing millions of dollars worth of cargo. Last week, San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies arrested 4 men in Needles for allegedly breaking into several train cars. When Elias Vasquez drove through the past Tuesday, he wondered why the train wasn't moving.
It was just stopped, it wasn't moving at all. And I've never seen a train stop there at that portion because I've always seen trains go, traveling through that specific part. But this one was actually like at a complete dead stop. So I didn't think nothing of it at the time.
Due to the ongoing investigation, deputies say they will not reveal how many people were arrested during Tuesday's train burglary.
They didn't already sack the whole town for millions of dollars and stealing everything already. That don't even matter at this point. What difference do it make? They done already did what they wanted to do and they done ran California bankrupt. But some stores are fighting back. They know, listen, before they break into 130 restaurants and stores, what we gonna start doing is we gonna start putting these hood rats on these billboards and putting exactly how much worth of content and worth of stuff that they stealing, and we gonna start shoplifting. We got some some Instagram things, Crimes in the D or something like that. It's a bunch of different Instagram stuff that I used to follow before I unfollowed everything and I only follow the content creators that's on my platform. But there's some Instagram profiles where basically stores can submit who the thieves are in Metro Detroit. If you are out here stealing, if you steal from Walmart, they gonna pull your image off of the surveillance cameras, put a still image on there, and then they're gonna submit it to Instagram or submit it to whoever it is on his profile for Instagram in order to highlight it and say, hey, this person stole some electronics, but they ran them up and they rung them up as bananas. That's what they doing nowadays. This is what they decided to do over in California.
Fed up and frustrated, that's the right description. The owner of Kitson is tired of being targeted by shoplifters. So they came up with the wall of shame.
She stole $500 from our main store.
Yep, she fit the description. Why we got to do so much crime? Can I bring our culture to the front of the congregation? And I know it's not just black people, but good God, we only 13.6% of the population. Why are we always at the forefront of the shootings, the stealing, the crime? And I know that I done seen some white people come in and act like they was pregnant and steal a whole bunch of liquor out of Myers. I ain't even gonna cap. It was crazy when I caught them. It was crazy when I caught them. I seen so many people doing so many different things. And yes, I know that all cultures steal. But what I'm talking about is how can you be 13.6% of the population, but committing the most murders, the most violent crimes, doing all of the stuff that's happening in Chicago and all of these liberal cities? How does this happen? How do we get a woman that looks so innocent, probably on the internet talking about what she want in a man, but she out here stealing $500 from a small business called Kitson over in California. When y'all go into these stores, do y'all actually look to pay? Do you have the money in your wallet, or are you looking to actually just steal? Is your entire dedication stealing? Honestly. Is everything just about stealing? Just can't keep your hands to yourself. Everything is about crime. Everything is about theft. Everything is about stealing. It just don't make no sense.
Robertson stole $1,000 worth of our merchandise.
Shoplifters.
Look at him. Look at him on there. You know what that woman looked like in the middle? That looked like the Sprinkle lady. The woman in the middle, Anisha Tiege, they got her whole name on there. Hey, look, if you look at the bottom, because they had put it obviously on, she contacted the store. I guess she probably contacted them on Facebook or Instagram. She says, I am not a fugitive in Seattle or Washington. I have resolved those issues. And then she says, sprinkle. She looked just, I'm not saying that that's her. But we're not saying that that's her. I'm saying that it looks like a close relative to her. Man, I have since resolved those issues. Keep your hands to yourself. We need to bring shaming back.
Where if you steal from Kitson stores, your photo, described as the new mugshot, will be displayed on the window for a little public shaming.
We feel as a small business, we have to take matters into our own hands. We're not being supported really by the mayor. We're not being supported by the district attorney.
Kitson stylist Lisa Goodman says shoplifting losses at their 4 locations are in the tens of thousands of dollars.
Sometimes they come in and they just grab tables worth of stuff and take it to their car. And sometimes they just shove it in their pocket. They'll wear it out. Various.
Y'all do know that when y'all steal from a lot of these places, not just the big box stores, because when you steal from the big box stores, eventually they close up shop and they remove all of the jobs and all of the commerce and everything continues to go down like it's going on in the Bay Area. But when y'all steal from a lot of these places, you're stealing from small business owners. You're stealing from people that put their all into opening up a business. They invested, they had a dream, they funded it, they may have gotten a loan, they family and friends helped them open up the doors. They're the first ones that was working behind the counter, wasn't getting paid, wasn't taking a salary. They still got to pay the rent. They decorated it. They got a vision. And the last thing that they was considering, the last thing that they was focused on, the last thing that they thought was going to happen to them or was at the forefront of their mind is a theft. That was the last thing that was on their mind, was somebody coming in, grabbing all of the clothes that they invested in, that they need in order to pay their rent and pay their employees. The last thing that you think about when you got this dream and you putting your own money into it and you trying to open up something is somebody coming in and stealing. Real talk. I was so heartbroken when I first seen they was running turkey legs out of the back of my first restaurant. When I put all of my hard work into that restaurant and then I looked at the monitor and I was watching it in real time, I said, wait a minute, the delivery driver is delivering chicken wings and turkey legs. We got to make sure that we get this popping. And I was trying to figure out, okay, wait a minute. They're not stealing this way. They're not stealing that way. So I just kept the monitor up all day. When a delivery man came in, 3 boxes went in, 2 went into the refrigerator, and 1 went right out the back door into the car. They said, we ain't even going to ring it up. We just going to get us some turkey legs. Are you cooking them at home, sir, or are you selling them separately? What is going on? Why y'all selling chicken wings and turkey legs by the box, by the case? Numbers was never adding up. I said, we selling all of this stuff, but we always out of inventory all the time. That's not your money. That's not your stuff. Jesus Christ.
And not only hangs photos of shoplifters on the windows, they also post videos on social media of people shoplifting at their stores. And without fail, someone online ends up identifying the shoplifters.
we're publicly shaming them, and we're doing what we need to do to protect our business.
In some of the cases, after the shoplifters have been shamed, they actually come back to the store to return the merchandise they stole. So far, public reaction to these new mugshots has been positive.
I think it's good.
Bring back shaming.
Maybe it'll help. Yeah, people should know who it is, that, for the other vendors also.
So I feel like the businesses are struggling, and I feel like we all can be accountable.
It affects us from top to bottom, from petty theft, organized.
Sir, I'm going to need you to put an undershirt on and stop having your nipples show through that see-through sweater you got on. Put an listen, fellas, I don't care what, unless you're going to the beach. Get you a wife beater, get you an undershirt, put it on. This right here, joint. Put one of these on. You can get them in all colors. You can get them in black, white. You can literally get them to match whatever outfit you got. Get you a wife beater, get you an undershirt. Don't have your nipples sticking out. That is unruly. Stop having y'all nipples sticking out through these see-through shirts, man. Y'all know y'all about to be on the news. You just put a sweater on. That's it? You just threw a sweater on over your taco meat?
Stuffed.
Devin Fowler works at To Be Continued, a consignment shop near Kitson on Robertson in Beverly Hills.
We love that Kitson actually brings attention to this. Some
got
of
all
the
that pink in there.
People who live in the community that do opportunity theft, they think no one's looking. Those numbers add up quickly.
Fowler and Goodman believe thieves are bold and fearless.
Look at this, old people, white people.
$950 are classified as misdemeanors,
Ooh.
and they won't do any jail
And she
time.
looked at the camera. Y'all want that little cheap stuff so bad, don't y'all?
I would encourage other businesses to take a similar approach to what Kitson is doing, because it's the only way that you're going to protect your assets, protect your store, and let people know that they can't come in and just steal your merchandise.
I agree. You got to do something. Anything's by any means necessary. We have to protect our stuff and what's happening over in California, because it's literally becoming hopeless out here in these streets. Anyways, let me read a few of the super chats and then we're going to continue over with the show. Let's see. This is not a super chat, but I seen this one. I wanted to highlight it. As I'm watching you now, I think Richard Fain is trying to imitate you, your way to sound, because it is exciting. Well, shout out to him. Finally, he learned something. He can finally learn something and put it into play. These people need to invest in their own content, man. You know what I'm saying? They said I was muted. I'm back. I'm back. Jason Statham says, Jim showering up now while listening. Hashtag no 2K. That was so funny when he said that last night. Rita gonna mention that today. Organized Truth says, Mr. Daniels, how do we get ahead of this breaking financial system and become our own bank? Also, how would you capitalize on compound interest? There's no way that you can't capitalize on compound interest as long as you leave your stuff reinvested and you let your money basically continue to roll over. You become your own bank when you no longer become interdependent on the system in order for you to exist. And that becomes buying your car, real estate, everything. I call it the reverse snowball method. It's actually a video inside of the Patreon in which I speak extensively about the reverse snowball method and basically how to become your own bank to where you no longer become dependent on the system or banking in order for you to be able to fund the things that you want. When I do something, I put my own money up. I don't go to a bank. I'm not looking for a small business loan. I'm not still trying to leapfrog off of that same old nonsense. Use other people's money in order to... No, put your own money up. Put your own money up and get your own bags up. So I got a video called The Reverse Snowball Method that I got inside of the Patreon. Make sure y'all look that up. You can actually search it when you join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Levite Apparel says, Anton, I was trying to stay quiet. Jokes got me. Y'all can't stay quiet. Y'all know better than that. You know one thing that you're going to get on the Millionaire Morning Show is you going to get these jokes. You going to get these jokes. All right? All right, y'all. Let's get to the money. Fast food earnings. Restaurants. Impact of upgrading. And then letting us know exactly what's going on when it comes to the minimum wage hike and how that's impacting businesses over in California. We got to get to the money, y'all. We got to get to the money. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
Fast foodies are fed up, taking to social media to rant about what they see as non-value meals.
$17 for 3 Filet-O-Fishes at McDonald's? Are you kidding me?
After 2 years of menu price hikes, big companies finally feeling the pushback from diners. McDonald's profits falling short of expectations, a rare stumble for the Golden Arches. The CEO on Tuesday noting today's consumer is being picky about how they spend their money, and the company needs to be laser focused on affordability.
Has the consumer finally spoken and now they have to focus on value?
The consumer is frustrated by the prices they are paying at fast food restaurants, and they are absolutely voting with their feet.
You can't have it both ways, consumers. You can't have it both ways. Either you're going to complain about the wage hikes or you're going to complain about the pricing. Either way, all prices get passed on to the consumer. And so either you're going to complain about inflation or you're going to complain about accessibility and being able to access and purchase the things that you want when you want to get it. When you got burgers that's costing anywhere from $14 to $26 to $30 for a burger, you can't really complain about it because this is the thing that you advocated for. And so somehow, some way, y'all saying that these small businesses are supposed to keep prices low. How? The margins, do you know that in restaurants, the margins are incredibly thin? What's going on, Island Girl Q? What's up, sister? The margins are incredibly thin. The profit margins. And then you got shrink. And you know what shrink is, right? It's basically food walking out the back door, stealing, theft, additional costs that you wasn't anticipating, somebody break a window, somebody burn up the chicken wings because they didn't turn on the timer. You got all of that type of stuff, right? And so eventually what happens is the middle class are the ones that ultimately suffer the most. And y'all like, hey, y'all like my Ronald McDonald right here? Had to put a villain Ronald McDonald up here because, it's bad out here in these streets. You know what I think Rita's trying to do, y'all, on the low? I think she's trying to rejoin the Millionaire Morning Show. She got her Rolex on like me. Look at her Rolex. Put the arm over. She got her Rolex on like me. She trying to rejoin it. No! I'm a solo artist. I don't depend on no woman. Ain't that right? I don't depend on no woman. Trying to rejoin the Millionaire Morning Show. No, and then she's going to be sitting in the background. Look, she just so happened to have a microphone over there somewhere. Do you want me to pull up the microphone? No, I don't want you to pull up no microphone. I don't want you to pull up no microphone on the Millionaire Morning Show. We talking about fast food prices and pushing back on consumers.
Opting, he says, for Domino's or Burger King, which both exceeded expectations, or cooking at home, where food inflation is cooling. Inflation measuring food at home rose just 1.2% in March versus a year ago.
They said you're trying to keep me from looking outside. Get on out of here. Wasn't nobody listening.
Compared to 4.2% for food away from home, which includes fast food. Those customers are increasingly revolting at repeated price increases. Mother of 5, Latifah Henry, says if prices get any higher, she'll skip the drive-through.
We're looking at like $10, $11, $12 sometimes just for one meal. So that is kind of something where we're like, okay, do we really want to eat out at McDonald's for those prices, or can we find somewhere that's, a little higher quality that is pretty much a similar price?
And it's not just the burgers. Drinks have gone up too. Prices for Coca-Cola up 7% in North America. And 2 months ago, Wendy's CEO fired up controversy when he told investors the hamburger chain would test dynamic pricing starting next year, changing prices at different times of the day. In California, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, Pizza Hut, and Jack in the Box warned customers of higher prices ahead because of a new $20 minimum wage for their workers. As for McDonald's, in an effort to calm customer concerns, it plans to test out a higher quality and bigger burger later this year.
So Christine, we know about that. We've been talking about the fast food prices soaring at these fast food places for a while now. But what about the more casual dining options, like Applebee's, for instance?
Right.
Are they going up there as well?
Yeah, they've been raising prices at Chili's and Maggiano's. And, and Darden Restaurants, which owns Olive Garden, noted in its earnings report that people who make $75,000 or less were going to Olive Garden less because of the higher prices. So you can see up and down the income strata, but definitely people who make less money are going out less. It's interesting, too. You know what? There's a new trend happening. Wawa, Sheetz, some of these convenience stores, gas station convenience stores, they're offering more hot food, more choices because they're getting those fast food customers who are sick and tired of rising prices. So I think you're going to see more value menus this year. I mean, the people, you're voting with your dollars. You really are when you're changing how you behave, and how you shop. And McDonald's and these other companies have seen it.
Yeah, but the problem is that you're voting with your dollars, not against the legislators that put a lot of this stuff into place. You're voting with your dollars against the very businesses that support your communities. So you killing the businesses don't necessarily change the mindset of the people that you vote in that's putting this stuff into place in the first place. If Gavin Newsom is able to run amok and all of your legislators in California is able to just raise prices and do what they want to do, I mean, we just reviewed a video just earlier this week, late last week, where they was talking about we going to remove Clear because people don't like the fact that you can get further up the line a little bit quicker. I got Clear. Rita don't. The point is that unless you educate yourself, the only people that are going to continue to suffer is you. And the businesses is going to innovate. We're going to talk about it in Stock Club tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, the main theme of Stock Club is going to be making sure that we're picking the right companies, and it's some companies we're going to revisit and some companies that we think are undervalued, is picking the right companies based off of their long-term strategy. When Tesla laid off all of their employees, a lot of these employees over in California, their stock price was rewarded because they understand what the long-term play is. We're not going to talk about it today. We're going to get to it. Let me pivot for a second and see how these fast food prices are raising and being passed on to the consumer based off of higher wages.
Some restaurants in California are now serving up a little sticker shock along with the food. Prices at several fast food franchises have gone up, some dramatically, since the state approved an increase in minimum wage to $20 an hour. Correspondent Nancy Liu is live in LA with a reaction to these price increases, Nancy.
Well, Nicole, nearly a month after California's fast food minimum wage jumped to $20 an hour, some customers
that just sound crazy to me. I'm going to let the video play in a minute. $20 an hour, it just sounds insane to me. It genuinely does. And I got some thoughts that I want to share on the next segment because I want to get into rising prices when it comes to home prices. Interest rates has just risen over 7% again for the first time in 2024. So we're going to get into that. We're going to really deep dive into the money today. But $20 an hour for a fast food worker is crazy. Do you remember when you first started working at McDonald's for your first job, do you remember how much you was making an hour? Yes. How much was you making an hour? $5.15. Woo! Rita was making $5.15 and was getting hit on by the store manager at the same time. In 1997. How old was you? 15? 14? 15 years old, making $5.15 and getting hit on by the store manager. I told her, I said, make me come up to that McDonald's and put some paws on that man. Make me come up to Mickey D's and put some paws on that man. Keep on looking at you funny. I went up there and visited her one day. I said, I gave him the ice grill. He said, what? I said, not that one. Not that one. I was in high school when I gave him, I just told him right away. I said, not that one. I know you used to getting your little young girls in here and you want to flip the burgers and have them on fries and tell them you're going to give them a 50-cent raise. Not that one. And ever since then, she was like, oh, I'm so in love with you, Anton. Oh, I said, I got me one. I got me one. Not that one. At least not for $5.50. $5.15? Oh, not for $5.15. Not for $5.15.
Been fast to change their habits, just as critics had predicted. The sharp pay hike from $16 to $20 an hour kicked in on April 1st, triggering higher menu prices everywhere. At this Chick-fil-A, many breakfast combos
Man, you can't
now
even
well
get an
over
egg sandwich no more.
$10. At In-N-Out, the popular double-double is now nearly $6. In some parts of LA, a Big Mac will set you back by $5, a Chipotle burrito by over $10. Pushed hard by the Service Workers Union and Governor Gavin Newsom to help counter the high cost of living in the Golden State, California's fast food minimum wage is nearly $13 higher than the federal minimum. There is
Woo! She got all of them jelly rolls rolling. Hold on. Give me a second.
Is nearly $13 higher than the federal minimum.
Oh,
There
hell
is
no.
no data yet on total restaurant layoffs
Ooh,
so
got that fupa in, ain't it?
far, but research confirms the
And
fallout
none of them
for
shoes authentic. Got them all from Temu.
consumers. According to one recent market review, average prices are up by over 10% at Chick-fil-A, with Starbucks, Shake Shack,
People that go to
Chipotle,
Chick-fil-A
and
don't even
Taco
care
Bell
about the prices. They be
also
going.
charging significantly higher prices. The sticker shock has some customers trying to curb their habits.
I'm from Texas, so like everything here is like already 5 times the price of what I would pay there. So like I think because of that, I just kind of like laugh everything off, and it's not that.
Texas is expensive like that? Oh, he's saying he's from Texas, but everything in California, since he's left Texas, is like 5 times higher in California, so he's just used to it. Got it.
Big deal, but definitely, yeah, of course, like nobody wants to pay more money.
Now, across the country, fast food prices are actually up by about 5% across the board, but California's new minimum wage for fast food workers has kicked things up far much more than that.
Yo, I remember when you used to be able to be a dollar millionaire. You used to be able to go to Wendy's and get a junior bacon cheeseburger for $1.06. The 6 cent was a 6% sales tax. Or $1.05, $1.05, $1.06. Get you a junior bacon cheeseburger. Get you a fry, a medium fry. Spent $2.10 or $2.12. You just had you a good old time. That was back in the recession in 2008. I said, you know what? I can come up with $2. I can give me a couple extra dollars to listen. I had a rough day today. I've been out here hustling. I worked 2 jobs. You're not gonna tell me that I can't spend me $3.15, become a dollar millionaire, get me a small Frosty, a medium fry, and a junior bacon cheeseburger. We was in there. In there like swimwear. In there like swimwear. And you could throw a salad in there for later that you wasn't going to eat and that you was going to take home and act like that you was going to eat healthy. Absolutely. They don't even got the dollar millionaires no more. But it's rough over there. It's absolutely rough over there in California. And people are fed
Inflation has
up.
been running through the economy at all levels, but one sector has been vastly outpacing the rest, fast food. McDonald's, Chipotle, Starbucks have all raised prices in recent years. Last quarter, McDonald's missed earnings expectations, citing consumer pullback in spending. The company will report results tomorrow. We're also going to be hearing from Starbucks as well. Joining us now is Sarah Senator, B of A's securities senior analyst. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Okay, so what do we think is really happening here with the pricing, and have these companies taken it too far?
I think what we've seen is a lot of inflation over the last few years. And the range of price increases has been wide, though. So some have, I think, pushed the envelope. We talked about McDonald's. You know, they had 10% or more price increase on their menu last year. They're probably running in the high single digits now. The year
Shout out
before
to
that,
Sonoma.
high single digits. We're talking about something like 30% in 3 years. They may be pushing the envelope because they do have a lower income consumer that they have to think about.
And how much of the pricing do you think is justified? I mean, this is a big sort of philosophical question.
Wait. Increase 200%? Oh, from 2014. 83%, 50%, 138%.
A lot of Americans are thinking about right now. How much of it is justified? How much of it is how much can we ram through? How much, when I say justified, in terms of wages, in terms of commodity costs, in terms of the food product and the like, versus, what kind of margin can we actually squeeze here?
Right. So I do think, by and large, it is justified, if you want to use that word, in terms of the underlying cost inflation that they have seen. So labor inflation was quite elevated, especially in 2022. We all know food inflation has been very high, although it's coming down. And anybody who had exposure to beef was in a particularly difficult situation. So if you look at the franchisees' restaurant-level margins, not really elevated at this point. The issue is that some other restaurants have managed to maintain their line on pricing a little bit better.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How is it that some of these other restaurants, and let's talk about which chains you think have done it, and how they've been able to do it while the others haven't?
Right. So you saw Chipotle, right? Had a fantastic quarter, very strong transaction growth. They're presently running kind of low single-digit price on their menu. And a lot of it has been able to offset higher inflation. I mean, they have taken price for sure, but more efficiency, their throughput, their transactions are much
avocados were so
higher.
expensive these days.
They were last year. They were actually quite a bit of a tailwind. So it's been a bumpy ride for avocado over the last couple of years.
Now? Okay.
So let me say this. If you are looking to get into the restaurant business, I need y'all to understand the business aspect of it. One of the videos, I have 5 videos that I have planned. One of them is breaking down the barriers to entry when it comes to opening up a restaurant. A lot of you guys are familiar with the idea behind being able to vet out the idea for less than $2,000. Probably need to raise that up to about $2,500 to adjust for inflation. I'll speak to that in the video inside of the Patreon that I'm dropping this month. I got 5 videos in addition to the stock club that I'm dropping in the Patreon in May, okay? But one of the things that y'all have to do is y'all have to simplify the menu, and then you also need to make sure that you multi-purpose some of the same ingredients for multiple different products that drive out the price, because the more that you buy, the less that it costs. But then in addition to that, if you can also repurpose some of the same menu items in order to create an entirely different menu, because now we have delivery apps and you can pass that cost over to the consumer, then you'll make way more money and you'll increase your margins. But we'll go over that in the Patreon. We'll deep dive into that. The best day to jump into the Patreon is the beginning of the month. It's going to be 5 videos, 5 chock full of $1 million game for you guys to absolutely leverage that in your real everyday life. This is not theory. This is stuff that I've proven, and I'm going to show you the receipts as a result of it, in addition to the stock club videos. So if you are not a part of the Bag Chasers, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Don't be sitting here missing out, talking about, oh my God, I want to know what's happening. I want to adjust. No, I've been warning y'all for a long time where you're supposed to leverage it and how you're supposed to leverage your resources in order to make way more money long term. All right. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to move right into the next portion of the video. My girl, sister, Mr. AD, it's great to see you today, plus a Rita sighting. Oh, we got a high Rita. Let me get in the way. When we going to get divorced? When we going to get divorced? Ain't that what the internet was saying like 2 months ago? Hello, I'm talking to you. Divorce. Shout out to sister. I appreciate you, sis. Rita, keep on being up under me. Always want to be. I'm coming up there to lay up under you while you do the Millionaire Morning Show. I said, okay. You can come and be up under daddy. Well, Building Journey says, congratulations, Treese, for joining the Chasers. Hey, congratulations to all of the Chasers, all of the new Bag Chasers. I see a lot of people joining the Chasers today. I appreciate y'all. We got a lot of work to do. Once you join, know that you got a lot of work to do. It ain't going to come to you. It's going to get there for you, though. Jason Statham says, mother effers is dining out at Wawa now? Yes, they are. I know. Listen, every speedway that I go into in order to fill up Rita's car, that thirsty Porsche, they got like a little separate area where you can like get your little meals and stuff, and all of them construction workers and stuff, they be getting that junk in the morning. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anthony Gordon says, Anton, I took a page from your book. I built my own investment property. Own money. No mortgage on it or nothing. It was good. $235,000 spent. We over here picking out countertops right now. They just measured for the cabinets. What was that, yesterday? They just measured for my cabinets yesterday. Slow process, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it in the end. Shout out to Anthony Gordon running it up. Smart man, and y'all can do it. You'll be surprised how easy it is to be able to save the money that you need in order to get there. But we'll talk about it later. Where we going into now? Let's see. We did McDonald's, mortgage rates. Absolutely, we got to talk about mortgage rates, all right? We got a lot of good stuff. It gets better after this. After we talk about how miserable you're going to be as a result of the mortgage rates, then we're going to get into some other stuff, all right? Let's talk about it.
Glad you're streaming with us. New data is out showing that mortgage rates are once again rising. They have soared back way above 7% now, the highest level since late last year, meaning it's much more expensive to try and buy a home. Our business correspondent, Alexis Christoforous, joining us now to tell us why the heck this is happening. Why are mortgage rates up so much?
And talk about bad timing, Kira, because the spring is...
Q said Wawa must be an East Coast place. Nah, we see Wawas everywhere, especially in the South. Florida, Wawa's heavy in Florida. Tampa, I don't know so much about Miami. I don't remember seeing it in Miami. Buc-ee's? What is Buc-ee's? Buc-ee's is a Wawa on steroids. Oh, Jesus Christ. More stuff you ought to buy that y'all don't need for us to throw away once it gets enough dust on it in the crib.
Usually the time, a busy time for the housing market when folks are going out and looking at homes to buy, but they are dealing once again with mortgage rates that are on the rise. As you said, mortgage rates now above 7%, averaging actually 7.17%. We haven't seen rates that high since November of last year. Big reason why the Federal Reserve, right? It had said it was going to start cutting interest rates this year, which would have helped mortgage rates, but now it's sort of changed its tune because inflation is proving to be more stubborn than we first thought. And so the Federal Reserve may be holding off on those interest rate cuts, possibly, Kira, for the rest of the year.
So
y'all do know that when we talk about these interest rates being high, it's a couple different things that y'all need to take into consideration. I know y'all haven't even thought about the possibility of getting a 15-year mortgage or a 10-year mortgage and then lowering the amount that you would spend on a house so that you can actually pay it off a lot quicker. But interest rates are always lower on mortgages that take less time for you to pay off. So if you get a 15-year mortgage, it's going to be less than a 7%. 7% is pretty crazy. It's crazy compared to what we used to. Back in the day, they actually had it higher than 7%, but they adjusted the type of property that they bought based off of what was necessary for their family. They didn't need a mini McMansion in order to put on Instagram in order to impress everybody. The real flex is having a paid-off place that you can live in. That's it. The flex, let me tell you what the flex in life is. It's not about the interest rate. It's not about what you can pay. It's not about what your payment is. It's not about the perception. It's about what you actually have that you don't have to spend an extraordinary amount of money in order to exist in, so you can allocate your resources over to the things that really matter. You want to spend your life stress-free, okay? They're going to continue to raise the rates. If inflation doesn't tamp down, as long as we continue to send money over to Ukraine and we send money over to Israel and Taiwan and fighting these proxy wars and migrant crisis and stuff. And the interesting thing about that is that a lot of homeowners is going to continue to stay artificially low in stock because a lot of homeowners are unwilling to sell. Why? Because they know that they can't take the money and buy another property because they only have so much equity into it. A lot of y'all keep saying that y'all balling, I own my own crib. You're lying. You're lying. The bank owns your place. And if you miss 3 payments, they coming to take it. If you miss 3 payments, they're coming to foreclose on your property. If you miss 3 payments when it comes to your car, they're coming to take it. You know why? Because you don't own your own car. You financed your car. And you have to make 360 payments to your mortgage before they even relinquish the title to your car. So it's always popular to say, but it's just a marketing tactic and it's a marketing tool in order to get you to continue to pay interest. The real flex is not to be paying anything. And that's not telling y'all, I'm not telling y'all to go out here and live van life. But what I am telling y'all is that they're going to continue to raise rates as long as inflation is high and as long as we have this bad, horrible president that don't understand inflation, because interest rates, see, when they raise the rates, it's largely talked about and reflected in the mortgages. It's not always talked about and reflected in your day-to-day activities, because these businesses, these banks, these small business loans, credit cards, all of this stuff, it's exploding. Credit card debt is higher than it's ever been. It's higher than it's ever been. Car notes, y'all all paying $1,000 car notes. We're going to get to that shortly. We got a segment for that too. But y'all keep paying all these high-ass interest rates. I don't believe in paying no interest. Why would I give money to the bank when I can keep it all in my own pocket?
Rates this year, which would have helped mortgage rates, but now it's sort of changed its tune because.
Let me tell you something. Let me say this one more before we get into the rest of this segment. I have more reverence for the person that has a paid off, relatively cheaper home than the person that lives in the McMansion that has this huge house note. For the person that chooses to live in and not have to spend an extraordinary amount of their resources in order to live in a house and is paid off their mortgage. If you are a millionaire or you are 100,000-aire or you 1,000-aire or whatever, right? Because it's largely tied into your net worth, and you are in a paid off home that costs $250,000, $300,000, $350,000, you balling above the person that has $1,000 equity in $1 million home. Don't be finessed by these talking points and these Instagram profiles. Listen, Diddy himself, as much money as he was making, they say that Diddy was making anywhere between 30 and 50, sometimes $70 million a year. Diddy have like 8 mortgages on some of his properties. Them big old homes that he got down there in Florida and Los Angeles, they be having jumbo loans on those properties. Now, the way that they mortgage properties is much different because they want to leverage the equity that they have into other things in order to reduce the amount of taxes that they got to pay, because if they have to take the final payment and then pay the taxes, what happens is, not mortgaging the property forces them to give more over to the federal government. We'll dig into that inside of the Patreon. However, they be having jumbo loans. They be having 8, 9, 10 different mortgages on those properties in order for them to be able to live in those places. And then it's hard for them to move them because they have a smaller pool of buyers that is not pressed to be able to buy that property. And so you want to stay in that sweet spot. And you also want to make sure that you paid off your property, because then that opens up the possibilities of where you can deploy the rest of your capital and your resources.
Inflation is proving to be more stubborn than we first thought, and so the Federal Reserve may be holding off on those interest rate cuts, possibly, Kira, for the rest of the year.
So what does this mean for home buyers? This is typically the busiest time of the year for the housing market.
Right. So home buyers are dealing with two things. Not only are mortgage rates higher, but the prices of homes not coming down, still near a record high. You've got the median price now for an existing home in this country, nearly $400,000, putting it out of reach for so many folks, especially those first-time home buyers. So here's how it breaks down. If you were to buy a $400,000 home at today's mortgage rate, your monthly payment would be about $2,700. If you had bought that same home 3 years ago, before the Fed started hiking interest rates and rates were about 3%, your monthly payment would have been about $1,000 cheaper at about $1,700. That's a real savings for folks. And I think the bottom line here, Kira, is that experts I talked to say expect mortgage rates to probably remain high for the rest of the year. It's important to shop around, check out different.
You're not going to get a much smaller rate no matter where you shop around to. That's just a fact.
Homebuyer demand taking a hit this week as mortgage.
Oh, hold on, bro. Where your stash at? I don't know. Is this a new trend? Is this a new trend? No hair on the face, no stash. I mean, listen, I think that everybody can do what they want to do, but is that a thing?
Homebuyer demand taking a hit this week as mortgage rates stay above 7% for a second week in a row. The uptick.
You see, the 15-year is significantly lower. I mean, it's not too much lower, but that's a huge amount when you're talking about financing $500,000 or $400,000 for a house.
In rates is certainly a sour note for potential home buyers looking to get in during the spring selling season. So, with sticky inflation pushing mortgage rates higher, should you rent an apartment or buy a house right now? Yahoo Finance's Danny Romero has the details. Hey, Danny.
Brad, consumers are dealing with high mortgage rates that are hovering above 7% and rent prices that are falling. So which market is better to pencil out here?
See Quentin over here being crazy? I see you, Quentin.
Well, data from Realtor.com shows that the monthly median rent in February was about $1,700. That's $4 lower than in January. And that's enough to buy you a McDonald's Big Mac every month. Just a suggestion. The biggest price cuts in the rental
She threw that joke in there herself. The producers did not write that.
market were for a studio apartment. The median price tag a month was about $1,400. 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom apartment prices also fell. But if you are considering in buying a home, data from Redfin shows that the median monthly payment on a home hit a record. It's about $2,800 a month.
How are y'all affording this? I'm just, because I know, and y'all want to act like, Anton, you so disconnected. I'm not. My costs are very minimal. All of the costs that I have is associated with my businesses. So when it comes to payroll and equipment and all of that stuff and a rent for this place or whatever, that's completely separate from my own personal life. How are people affording spending this type of money when we know what the average income is, and the average household income, the median household income, y'all got to be spending at least 50% of y'all income on y'all house payment. And this don't even have nothing to do with the property taxes. This don't have nothing to do with maintenance, PMI, if you got PMI, utilities. That's not even baked into the cost. Insurance costs, what goes in the escrow so you can then pay your property taxes on time, and the county or the state don't go ahead and foreclose on it and take it and sell it at an auction. How are y'all affording almost $3,000 a month for a house payment? And you got to hustle and struggle for 360 months and try to survive this junk for the next 30 years. Man, I'm not paying nothing for 30 years. I'm not paying nothing for 30 years. 30 years? I mean, this just can't. Okay, so let's take it. $3,000 a month. So y'all paying let's just say somewhere between $35,000 and $36,000 a year. If the median household income is like $67,000 a year, and then you got to take taxes out of that. Now, household income meaning people combined. That's a lot of money, bro. It's a lot of money.
That's a 13% increase from the same period last year. And mortgage rates are partially to blame here. The average 30-year fixed mortgage rate is hovering above 7%, pushing homeownership out of reach.
That's insane, man. But y'all asked for this. This is the economy that y'all want. They keep selling you on the idea that jobs are plentiful and everybody is winning out here in these streets. Okay. All right. Well, I believe you. I believe it when I see it, because I see everybody getting evicted right now. Jeremy H says, can you break down how to purchase a foreclosure? Y'all want me to give all of the Patreon game, or y'all want me to talk about that inside of the Patreon? I don't want to say that in front of the people. Forsaken Archive says officially a bag chaser. Officially a bag chaser. Shout out to Forsaken Archives and all of the new bag chasers. I'm getting the emails right now. It looks like since the show started, over 36 people have now become chasers. Over 36 people have now become chasers. Shout out to all of the new chasers. Y'all killing the game. Y'all are smart. You smart. You loyal. Chris Monroe, STL, says, St. Louis says, I've taken over multiple properties subject to existing financing with 2 to 3% interest rates and 7 to 8 7 and 8% is insane. Man, I can't imagine. I don't know. I don't know. I just had different dreams and different ambitions for myself. All right, what we got going on next? Because I want to get to that reaction video. But before we get to the reaction video, Gen Z. Gen Z. I call it the victim generation. Shout out to my dog, Sylvester. You bag chasing now? We're going to read that shortly. Shout out to my dog, Sylvester. Where you want to meet up at, Q? You tell me where you want to meet, and then we going to be there. I say we should be in Detroit, personally. I think we should be in Detroit, but I know Q feeling some type of way about the fact that Detroit is better than Houston right now, but we going to get there. Ain't that right, Rita? Yes. Yes, it is warm. 80 plus degrees every day. Gen Z is conditioned to have resentment and be in denial. I seen this cross my desk. I believe it was CNBC that was talking about this before we get into the reaction video. So make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's talk about it.
Pollster Frank.
We only going to spend 10 minutes. Let me put my timer on this. Put my 10-minute timer. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And we only going to talk about this for 10 minutes. Let's go.
Lawless recently hosted a focus group with Gen Z voters, ages 18 to 24 from around the country. I want to show you what they had to say about capitalism versus socialism. It's eye-opening.
Socialism, because I think, frankly, capitalism is destroying our planet, where shareholders are going after profits at the expense of our environment, at the expense of the lives of humans.
Ultimately, capitalism is what makes America, so sought after. It's why
I see you, Jordan. See, Jordan didn't think we was gonna know who was talking. I had to scan the whole thing, and I would like to get this video. If anybody can find this video where I can see all of these young people running in the Victim Olympics, y'all send it to me. I see Sarah over there in the upper left-hand corner. Sarah got cat ears on. Jordan over here in the bottom right-hand corner. He's the one that probably has no mustache, and he's complaining. We see a lot of people over here in front of the San Francisco Bridge. A lot of headphones on, a lot of hoodies. I see y'all. So it's a lot of people running in the Victim Olympics on this live stream. Okay. Go ahead, Jordan. Tell us about it.
Everybody wants to come here, not the other way around.
Capitalism encourages the exploitation of people. I think capitalism supports people who are already at the top.
I'm actually the son of Cuban refugees, so I understand firsthand how the dangers of socialism, and specifically its link to authoritarianism, can really destroy a country.
Joining us right now is pollster and political strategist Frank Luntz. He was the one who conducted that focus group, and it was pretty remarkable. I watched a large portion of it. Were you surprised by the language?
The language, I was surprised. I was not surprised about the conclusion. Young people are always to the left. But when they use a word like exploitation, when they talk about corruption or greed, those send off bells to me. And I'm warning Washington, D.C., that all this anger and all this frustration with the economy, no, it's not good. No, it's not working for them. And you better pay attention to this, because these young people are not just writing off politicians. That's the easy thing to do.
But here's the question then. Is the answer, when you say the government needs to be watching, right, that folks in Congress and the Senate need to be watching, there is a view among some, which is that to make it work for the American people better than it is today, the answer isn't necessarily capitalism per se, but it is, and it may be even more socialistic perspective, which is that we need to get more money into the hands of these people. And the question, of course, is how do you do that?
Well, the key for them is that road, that opportunity, that direction. And all they're asking for is a fighting chance. And if they see Washington behaving in such ways to deny them that chance, to tax them so much, to regulate those so much, the litigation, all these things that are happening to capitalism is undermining our faith, our trust, and our confidence.
Is that what you found, though, in the focus group itself?
In the focus group itself, they want to know that it is a level playing field. So basically, they want to take us back.
At what point in history has the playing field ever been level for anybody? You get dealt the cards that you dealt, and you leverage whatever it is that makes you unique in order to win. The fact that you grew up in the hood made you basically have hard or tougher skin, and you knew that you was at the bottom. And so what happened was, listen, I don't have nothing to lose. I'm going for everything. Where this guy is going to be apprehensive, I have nothing to lose. So what? I start at the bottom. I start back where it is that I came from. I'm never going back there anyway. It doesn't really make a difference. And so the mentality is what then puts you in a position. The majority of what success looks like, listen, bro, it's a fact. Most millionaires are new millionaires. Most millionaires are new millionaires. These are not people that inherited wealth. That is one of the biggest myths that come along with all of this cultural norm and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and young people versus older people. Most people become millionaires in their 50s, if they ever become a millionaire at all. A lot of the wealth that's generated in this country is from people that wind up migrating over here legally, sometimes illegally, but legally. But because they have a different work ethic, they have a different mindset, they lower their expenses. They come from an environment that requires them to be accountable for everything that they do. And so they're not looking to get a handout. They're just focused 100% on winning. For some reason, a lot of these younger people that's raised in this culture and raised in America today, they focus so much on what they feel like they're owed or making the playing field even. It's not life. They want it now. They on Instagram. They so focused on what everybody else is doing, and so they want to be able to vacation. Bro, you're not supposed to be vacationing in your early 20s. You're supposed to be grinding. What generation was just out here vacationing in their 20s? You had to go and get it, big dog. I don't understand why everybody wants a handout and they want to. I don't want an equal playing field. I don't need an equal playing field. I was so aggravated at this guy. I told Rita the other day, my attitude was so bad. It was so bad. And I don't even know if I should tell. Should I tell this story? What do you recommend? Don't tell this story? I'm going to give a general idea of it. I ran into a guy. I'm not going to say where or anything like that, but it was just mutual. It was a mutual, natural running into each other. And he was from a different culture. Let's just say that. He was not black. And we ran into each other. And it was just like, we started having conversations. And he got into his car and I got into my car. And we were very similar in a lot of ways as far as what our socioeconomic status was. But when I broke it down and I looked at the overall picture of where he was in life versus where I was in life and so many different aspects, it aggravated me. It aggravated me to my core. And this is the honest to God truth. It aggravated me so much that Rita could visibly see that it was something wrong with me. And she was like, what is going on? What is wrong with you? And I don't care. So, you should be able to say whatever it is that's on your mind to the person that you lay next to and you got to close your eyes next to. And so because I live my life like an open book, especially with the person that I'm laying next to, I told her, I said, man, he beating me. It was the first time that I ever met him and we shook hands, and I have nothing against him per se, but I'm so competitive and I allow for people to expose my own personal flaws by leveraging that and using that as motivation for me to continue to win, that immediately I just started changing things that was in my life. As far as I am ahead in life in so many different aspects of my life, it bothered me so much that it forced me to make some adjustments to my own life, because I can't just be able to identify another grown man that's legally, personally beating me in different aspects of my life and things that I can personally control. It bothered me to my core. It bothered me to my core. And it wasn't even bothering me on some, oh man, I don't like him. It bothered me in that I kind of mentally created a Rolodex in my mind that forced me to start looking at him as competition because I needed that motivation to push me to the next level. Whereas I was getting comfortable in a lot of ways, and a lot of the ways in which I was operating on a daily basis. I can't afford to get comfortable because it's people that is still competing against me even when they're not competing against me. And so I had to make an adjustment. And it gave me more motivation. And it's funny because I had prayed earlier that morning, and one of my prayers, because I always am thankful, and I ask God and I say, hey, give me what it is that I need in order to be successful. What am I missing? What am I missing? I know it's something else that I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm getting a little bit too comfortable. And then I ran into this dude, and we had a 5-minute chat. And boy, did that junk burn me in the inside so much. He didn't do nothing wrong. He was a good guy and all of this, but it burned me. It burned me to my core. And I am a very, very, very competitive person in every aspect of my life. And that was it. It set me off. It set me off. It really did. I started going over every aspect of my life with a fine-tooth comb. Sometimes you need that. You need that growth. But I don't think a lot of these young people today have that spirit in them. They don't have that competitive spirit that then drive you, because competition is not supposed to create hate within you, but it's supposed to drive you to be more successful. And that's how we progress society. That's what inspires you to build. That's what inspires you not to get too comfortable. That's what inspires you to be able to pour into people, to help people. You become more successful, and then you pour into other people, and you create things that otherwise did not exist, because it all comes from a competitive nature, a competitive space, a motivational space. You see what I'm saying?
I hate to use the phrase, but Reaganomics, take us back to the 1980s, 1990s.
Listen, this is it. He was worried about him when dude went on with his life. It wasn't about him. It's about me. See, what you don't understand is I needed him for motivation. It's not about whether or not he was worried about me. It was about what I needed to source from every single thing that I see in my life in order to continue to push me to be a better version of myself. And I'm so disappointed in the fact that you missed that you so short-sighted that the only thing that you can get out of that conversation and that story is that it was about them. It's about you. And it's about drawing from anything that's around you to motivate you, to continue to push you to be a better version of yourself. I don't care if I ever see that guy again, but I got what I needed from him. I got my answer of what I prayed for from him, because the answers that you seek don't always come from a little voice that come in your head from an angel or God telling you this, that, and so. Sometimes he gives you an example because he knows exactly what you need in order to continue to push yourself. You missed it. You missed the whole lesson. And this is why we so behind, because you think that it's about them, and it's not. It's about you. Even when it comes to forgiveness, forgiveness ain't for them. Forgiveness is so that they don't take up any more real estate in your head, so you can continue to push yourself forward, so you don't have any anchors on you and you can run. You missed it. You missed the whole lesson, 100% of it.
When people had a chance to move ahead, they had a chance to invest. They admire entrepreneurs. They admire small business owners, family businesses. They admire. The big corporations, not so much.
Right.
And I wish that the business community also paid attention.
When Reagan said that only one generation at a time can understand that capitalism is what works, and we can't pass it down through our genes to our next generation.
But we have to teach it, and that's the
what
problem.
I mean. That's what he said.
In our schools, they're not. In colleges now, they teach socialism. They tell the students that you're not getting a fair shake.
Do they teach what socialism? Now, socialism and communism are not the same thing, but sometimes one results in the other. It usually results in about 10 or 50 million people dead. I mean, we've tried this.
Well,
we haven't done it right yet. Is it the same old excuse? We've tried socialism, we just haven't done it right yet, right?
No, because I'm separating the politics. That's easy to get agitated.
I don't want to get agitated.
This
I've
is
just
the
had 2
core
weeks
of
off.
our economy.
Let's show, because this speaks to some of this.
Why do they keep Why do they keep interrupting him instead of letting him get his rocks off? They are teaching socialism in colleges. They teaching socialism in everything that we do. Listen, in everything we do, they start giving you when you a child, they give you a participation trophy just for showing up. They give you points on your ACT and your SAT in order to just spell your name right. We're conditioning and we're creating a bunch of coddled people every single day, and they feel entitled. Even when I hear women talk about relationships, a lot of times they say what they deserve, not what they earn. They don't say I'm attracting what it is that I am, or I need to become a better person in order to be the man or be the woman that I need to be for my spouse. They say, I deserve this. And then everybody else give them positive affirmations. Oh, yes, you deserve this. No, you don't. No, you don't. And everybody shouldn't get a trophy. They're conditioning you to think like this from the time that you wake up all the way up into these indoctrination camps. And they think that they can protest their way to success. You can't. You got to earn it.
The audience this. You asked a question about what America needs more of, meritocracy or equality. And I thought that was actually an interesting thing. A majority said they would choose equality. Take a look at this.
Meritocracy has its place, and I think that people are often
That's
rewarded
Brandy
for
speaking up
how
there.
hard they work, but I don't think equality is the right word. It should think maybe we should be talking about a third option, which is equity, because equality, I think, involves bringing some people down and raising others up, whereas if we get everybody up just to the same starting place, then we really could have a shot at meritocracy being very fruitful for people.
I think we can thrive under a meritocracy, but I think it's inherently not fair if we were to do that at the place we are now. Everyone needs to be at the same starting point.
This is so dumb.
That's an interesting conundrum, because we are all not at the same starting point, and the chances of that ever happening, I think, are nil.
Exactly, and that's the challenge here. Our country is based on the idea that you do more, you get more. You do better, you make better. And this is challenging that exactly. In the end, I look at this as an entire generation that's been educated to have resentment, to have a sense of denial, and it's now coming true in how our young people respond.
Throw one more word in there, an entitlement. Entitlement. They think that they are entitled. This is the generation that's done the least. Every generation gets weaker because we have to do the least. We don't even have hard jobs anymore. Half of y'all working from home. Y'all be working from home and still be complaining about the fact that you got to put in 40 hours. Half of the jobs that y'all got, y'all only really working 2 to 3 hours out of the day, and you complaining about it. Man, y'all ain't building no railroads, actually physically building no buildings. When y'all get in these plants, the robots is doing the majority of the work. All you got to do is focus, and you can't even stay awake half the time. It's so many coddled people in society, and it's not just generational Z. It's all of these generations. They all, 100% of them, 100% of them are feeling entitled, and they feel like they deserve something that they didn't earn. They even say tax the rich and give it to us. Man, how you gonna take something from somebody else and think that you deserve it? Anyways, let's continue on. I want to read some of the super chats, and then I want to get into this reaction video, because I'm going to do a follow-up of a video that I had done, I think it was about a week ago. Look at her dancing. That's my backup dancer, y'all. She over there cracking up. Whenever I start singing a song, she just start dancing. If y'all don't listen, if y'all don't got a girl, if your girl ain't your biggest cheerleader, if your girl don't start dancing when you start singing, no matter how bad your voice is, if your girl ain't cheering and excited to see you when you come through the door, she not yours. It's just your turn, big dog. It's just your turn. If your girl ain't got her hands in the air when you start doing stuff, I don't want to hear from you. That's not your girl. It's just your turn. If your girl is not the biggest cheerleader and everything you do is cute to them, It's not your chick, bro. It's not your chick. Shout out to Sylvester Slybester 88 said I'm a chaser now. Shout out to the chasers, all of the bag chasers. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all running it up. I can't wait to do Stock Club tomorrow morning. I can't wait to do Stock Club tomorrow morning. Mr. Undisputed says, cancel my monthly for an annual. And you got that 15% off, big dog. You got that 15% off. I see you. Sam Saylor says, bag chasers gonna get taxed ED. Nah, because what we gonna teach inside of the chasers is how to keep more of your money for yourself legally. You know what I'm saying? Chris Bout 777 says they think being rich is evil until they get rich. See, everybody is liberal until they start to grow up and get some money. Latrell M says there's a great place to go when you're broke, to work. Math doesn't care what you declare. That's a good one right there. Prince Elien is in the building, says folks want socialism until it steals their assets and gives it to the federal government to go and fumble. Anyways, so, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I present to you a woman. Hold on, let me change this up real quick. Give me a second. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I present to you a woman earlier in the week / end of last week. I did a video of a woman that was saying that she was paying a crazy car note. Well, you guys followed up again and you sent me some follow-up videos from this person in which they were basically saying they don't understand what everybody is sitting there complaining about. They don't get, and it makes no sense to them, why everybody is saying that she's paying an extraordinary amount of money. And so she got two follow-up videos. The first video, she's not only talking about the fact that she was paying, I think it was $1,400 a month for a Tahoe, and she had spent over $50,000 during the financing process over the last 3 years and only had like $6,000 in equity into the original price that she purchased it for. But now first, I'm going to present the first video. The first video is of her talking about what her husband's car note is and what the interest rate is. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it.
Do y'all want to know what is worse than my Tahoe payment? You guys thought that was bad. Wait till you hear this one. It's my husband's truck. My husband drives a 2020 GMC AT4 Sierra 1500. We bought it in August of 2022.
So you bought a used truck. Got it. 4 years old now. Got it.
Financed it for $78,000.
I am so confused and I do not understand. How are y'all financing these cars that you're complaining? Listen, and if you got it, then it's different, right? If you getting it and you can afford it, then that's a completely different conversation. But what these people are saying, and they hopping on these platforms and they having these conversations, she was paying $1,400 a month. He financed another car for $78,000, or a truck for $78,000, 80 grand. 80 grand. So they probably had somewhere in the range of $160,000, $170,000 worth of vehicles that they financed and that they complaining about that the car notes is too high.
He still has a remaining balance of, I think it's $72,000 or $74,000. I haven't really checked recently. His payments are $1,600 a month.
So think about this. She said her Tahoe payment was $1,400 a month. Now she's saying that her husband's truck note is an additional $1,600 a month. Now, when y'all taking this into consideration, don't just look at it and say, well, they paying $3,000 a month in financing vehicles. I also want you to take into consideration that this doesn't include insurance. This doesn't include gas. This doesn't include maintenance. None of that. None of that. This is just the car notes with high interest rates.
So y'all thought my $1,400 Tahoe payment was bad. His truck payment is $1,600 a month.
And what do these people do for a living?
With an APR of 14%.
And then they be talking about this like, They talking about it like it's something to be proud of. With an APR of 14%. You paying an interest rate of 14%, probably 72 to 84 months. You paying for a house just to look like something in front of people that don't even care nothing about you. This is the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life, bro.
So yeah, y'all stop coming after me for my bad finance decisions and go after him because he fucked up too. Too bad he didn't buy his truck for him. I did. So yeah, I messed them both up. Oops. So maybe we should just let his truck get repossessed and keep the Tahoe because a $1,400 Tahoe payment is a whole lot better than a $1,600 truck payment. Or maybe we should just let them both go back because we have the Audi now and don't need either of the.
So then she showed back up, right? She showed back up and she came up with another video, and this is her other video.
I want to know what y'all's car payments are every month because I refuse to believe that I am the only person with a high car payment, and I refuse to believe that my husband is the only man with a high truck payment. I don't know if y'all see it, but I literally see vehicles posted for sale now for like $100,000 to almost $200,000.
What cars? I'm just curious. If it's not a McLaren, if it's not a Lamborghini, if it's not a S-Class Mercedes, if it's not a G-Wagon, something. A high-end Audi with all of the options. What cars do y'all see posted for sale that are between $100,000 and $200,000? A normal car. Nobody told you had to go and impress your friends and none of that. What cars do y'all see that's being posted for sale for between one? Y'all say that I'm disconnected. Man, these people, regular, everyday people, are 100% disconnected, bro. They are completely disconnected. Y'all said large SUVs. No. Unless you're getting an Escalade, a Range Rover Autobiography, large SUVs do not cost between $100,000 and $200,000. Unless you are getting a G-Wagon, an Escalade, loaded out, a Range Rover Autobiography, which you shouldn't be financing those. You should just lease them if that's what you're gonna do, or Urus. I do not see regular, everyday, large SUVs costing $200,000. No, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. No way, no how. You're not gonna sit here and convince me that these large SUVs is costing $200,000. That's not overly over the top luxury. Stop, bro.
And there is absolutely no way that people are purchasing these vehicles without paying a high car payment. So y'all are mad at me, and I know that I am not the only person with these high ass car payments. I'm not. And other people just might not be telling you what their car payments are, but there are a lot of people with these high car payments for absolutely no reason. Vehicles now are not the same cost as vehicles used to be. I can look online and find a hoopty.
Farmer DAs, you do realize I just bought a Ford Bronco Raptor, right? You do realize I just bought a Ford Bronco Raptor. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. Don't worry, I'll get there.
And it's going to be like $15,000. That is wild. So please tell me what your car payments are, because I need to prove a point that I am not the only person in this predicament, especially people that bought their cars a few years ago during the pandemic, because that is when the cars started getting really high, which is when I bought our vehicles. So tell me, do you have a high car payment or do you have a low car payment? Because
listen, y'all, I'm going to say it once and then I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it once and then I'm going to say it again. All right. You don't want to be anywhere in the middle of the spectrum. Whether it's a dating market, the money market, any of that. Anytime you classify yourself as being in the middle of the spectrum or what you think average is, 100% of the time, you're going to be off. It's going to absolutely 100% kill you. Okay? That's number one. Number two, you want to make sure that you minimize the amount of money that you spend on the things that's important. Housing, cars, credit cards, all of that stuff. Forego that for an extended period of time until you get to the point to where your assets are basically covering your expenses. At that point, you can do whatever it is that you want because now we in the money game. The money game is how do we then leverage what it is that we're making in order to minimize the amount of money that we're giving over to the federal government in taxes. They're incentivizing us to reinvest in ourselves. And that comes with a certain lifestyle. Whole nother conversation. But once your asset starts to pay for your luxury lifestyle and you no longer have to or are forced to. Now, there are people that go out and they finance things not because they don't have the resources. They have the principle, they have the resources, but they choose to allow for that large resource to continue to be inside of the market or make them more money that then continues to pay for that asset. You know what I'm saying? So there are ways to hack, but you got to get yourself to that point. You should not be financing your way to a lifestyle in the middle in order to make people feel good about what it is that you're doing. If you cannot afford to buy it, even if you finance it, you should not have it. And when I say afford to buy it, I'm not even just talking about the amount of money that you have put up for it. I'm also talking about what your net worth is. It all has to align. It all has to align. And I want people to start making sure that they stay down long enough for them to be able to really be able to live the lifestyle that they want. Bro, if you can't even fully fund your 401k every single year, 100%, both you and your chick, then you shouldn't be going out there putting more money into a car note than you are into your 401k. If y'all putting $1,600 a month plus gas, maintenance, insurance, and all of this stuff, but then you sitting here and telling me, oh man, my 401k, I couldn't fully fund it. That's a problem. You can't afford it. You cannot afford to live this lifestyle that you're projecting yourself to be if you're not putting a minimum of a certain amount of money into your retirement, into your net worth, into your stocks, into real estate, into making sure that you increase the value of who you are so that you can then pass on something to the people or be able to help people that's around you. There's no way in the world I'm going to justify somebody not being able to put the money into their 401k, but then at the same time, they're spending more money on a car. That's dumb. That's dumb. And so when I talk about affordability, I'm not talking about how much you can pay in a car note. I'm talking about what makes sense as far as you making sure you invest in the best things for you for your lifestyle. Bro, if your daughter or your son got to go out there and take out student loans, but you out here paying a crazy amount for a car note, that's crazy to me. You can't afford it. You can't afford it. If you carrying credit card debt, but you out here paying a crazy car note, you can't afford it. Come on, man. Let's get back to normal. Let's get back to normal. We're not going to continue to do all of this dumb stuff. And guess what? Don't nobody even care. Nobody cares. So I thought that this would be an interesting conversation to have. Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, let me read a couple of these super chats, and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day. We've been keeping time pretty good lately. We've been keeping our time pretty good lately. All right. Farmer DA says, 4 Broncos are now $100K now. Listen, bro, you don't have to get the Raptor. That's $100,000. You can, first of all, you need to go ahead and, not you in particular, but people need to act their wage. Act your wage. You don't have to go and get a Ford Bronco. A Raptor, the highest version that you can get. You don't have to do that. Wealth Building Journey says, Time, did you peep her skin, lips, and teeth? I try to stay away from deep diving on content creators too much, unless that's the thing that they're talking about in particular. I try to stay focused on, for a content creator, I try to stay focused on the subject that they're talking about and get into that. Looks like she's financing more than those 2 trucks, if you ask me. Yeah, I mean, maybe, possibly. That's for y'all to talk about. So I'm going to give credit to her video when this wound up getting clipped up. My girl Sis is in the building again. Shout out to Sister. Says, Mr. AD, she and her husband need to be a bag chaser. She doesn't even realize you do not need a car payment. Once you condition people to be a certain way, they're not changing. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. That boy will. Clay says, AD, does it make sense to pay $12,000 fee for a business credit or loan of $100K at 0% for 12 months? What do you need it for? When y'all take out these loans for businesses, the only time that I ask y'all or I advocate for y'all to take out a loan is if you expand in something that you've already proven to be successful, right? Because then that just means that, okay, if I take out this credit or I take out this loan in order to expand my business, I already have a proven business model. I'm losing out on money over the idea that I have not been able to reach as many customers or expand as fast as I want to. And so that's the time that you want to start taking out financing or credit in order to expand the business, and then you want to pay it back as soon as possible, right? But just taking it out for the sake of taking it out, it don't make sense. So you still gonna owe that money back. That's the key. Money ain't free. It could be cheap, but it ain't free. Shout out to my dog. That boy Will says, Anton, let me hold $100K until I get paid on the 21st. I'm good for it. Hey man, listen, the way that my checking account is set up, I ain't got no money. I'm broke. Make sure that my accounts is what they supposed to be. Let me show you how much I got in my savings account. I'm broke. I got $31 in my savings account. Yeah, that $31 has been accumulating $1 a day at a time. I ain't got it. I'm tapped. I got $31 in my savings account. See that? $31. $1 a day, keep the doctor away. Auto savings. I got $31. Now, my other accounts may be a little bit different, but neither here nor there. Huh? Oh, what was that noise? You give me some. Hey, let me hold something. Shout out to my dog, that boy Will in the building. I ain't got no money, man. I'm tapped. The way that my checking and savings is set up, the way that my checking and the savings. Somebody said, I'm surprised you have a savings account. It just came with the account and I just left it there. I don't know. I just left it there. It's tapped. It's tight out here. It's hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to get that money for the rent. I'm about to sell my studio. Hey, we need to sell all of this stuff in here, man. We only got $31 in our savings account, so we need to sell all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, you said what, baby? You don't care? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. Hopefully you find some entertainment and value on the things that we talk about on a regular basis. I even switched it up. I went and put on my hoodie instead of putting on my black t-shirt. And we had a good time. All right. Leslie said, now she don't feel bad at all. Ha ha. Yes. Shadow Dragon TV says, last year I sold my car after realizing it was an unnecessary expense. I only use it on the weekends and for work. I now live closer to my job, use a training, can save money. Dog. You killing the game, big dog. You absolutely destroying everything, all right? What's tonight? Wednesday night? I got a live stream tonight. I think should I do a more condensed show like I did it on last Wednesday? I don't know. Shout out to Shadow Dragon TV for making that adjustment. All right, man. Listen, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your order Plus, if you don't got that Tiege pack, I told them to give me the 40. They gave me the 40. It's 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. That link is in the description. Also, on top of that, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Live streaming tomorrow morning before the Millionaire Morning Show at 10 a.m. Eastern for live streaming on Stock Club. We about to get it. We're going to talk about what Jerome Powell talk about also at 2:30. Absolutely. I'm about to catch that right now. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Stay focused. Peace.